So we're going to start this way?
My brother, I used my brother for good time tally ideas.
You started this one, you had a photograph
Some photograph that he took of himself.
that he took of himself by holding the camera out like this, and he took the picture.
He does that.
He does that, yeah.
He does that a lot.
Uh-huh. How old is your brother?
He's 53.
53.
Yeah.
So he's a year younger than you?
I'm 55.
Yeah, so he's 2 years younger than you are.
Yeah.
And you grew up together with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've always been very close, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
These two
it's
here.
like a hopper, I guess. This is separated from here and it's alone.
So in looking at Edward Hopper,
Yeah, I'm trying to maybe think of that down. What's his name? Larry Burnett.
right,
Description of them.
yes. Yes, he talked about, well, he didn't talk about Edward Hopper, he talked about you and how you created this sense of...
Yeah, I'm just using as an example of what I'm doing here and here.
Edward Hopper is a good example in that has this sense of being removed from the subject,
Yeah.
sort of a removed observer.
Yeah.
Although in this one,
I'm trying to say about these,
the interesting thing about this is the removed observer is
Yeah.
you, the painter, because
Yeah.
you are in the place of the painter here,
Yeah.
with the hands in the lap, looking down the hallway of some sort of an institution.
Yeah.
Where was this done?
Where was that done?
Yes.
Brattleboro.
When you lived in Brattleboro? It is a very cool color.
Yeah, sort of institutional.
Why do institutions always use that green, do you think?
Maybe relaxing, I don't know.
Did you do this painting when you were at the retreat or after?
I did something I went to retreat.
At the retreat.
Yeah,
And here we're sitting in the back seat of a car.
yeah.
We're going somewhere.
Shadows going up, you go past that light.
Riding in the car at night with the shadows going by.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is one of the memories.
It's interesting the way you handled the glass here. You have several glazes.
Yeah.
Layers of paint, one over the other. You know, all these, there's a whole combination of some Mike plaques on wood, and there's these Mike t-shirts that you did, and then there's the oil painting of the Mike t-shirt, so it's a painting of a painting. It's kind of interesting. And this Genevieve Burnett Mike exhibit, what's this all about?
Well, you see, the one I had the first liking of it was in the Burnett room at the Jones Library. That's why they make the name Burnett known.
The Burnett room was named after your grandfather.
Yeah, the Mike exhibit in the Genevieve Burnett room. He was a beautiful cat.
You had Mike for how many years?
He lived to be about 19 years old.
19.
19, 20 years old.
He's a very close companion of yours.
Yeah. I worried about when he was going to die and everything. I want to make him a star. He was so beautiful.
He's a beautiful friend.
Yeah.
You have several cats now, is that right?
I have 3 female cats. Pipsqueak, Georgie, and Lisa.
Pipsqueak, Georgie.
Georgie and Lisa.
Yeah. Here's Bob again with Mike. So this is from a photograph of Bob posing with Mike.
They have like the same shadow with your own face.
Well, this is done recently. This is done in '98.
Yeah, it was very lonely.
As I remember, you had a little ink sketch on a piece of paper that you pulled out of your stack of millions of drawings. and you start on this canvas and you reproduce the drawings faithfully to that piece of paper.
Yeah.
So you had a little sketch of Mike's ears over here in the corner, and there was a spot on the paper, and you painted that spot in a sort of a dirty tone, and you also painted that into the painting. So you painted the page just the way you saw it. It's a wonderful rendering, and it is very modern in a sense. She seems full of affection. There does seem to be trouble on her forehead. But she's that place of comforting really comes through. This is some almost 30 years before. It was 1967, and this is 1997. And here we have a woman with a cat. This is the same woman, the back of her head in the car.
My roof.
Oh, the roof.
Yeah.
It's a friend of yours.
Yeah, that's like when I was
So those two paintings are connected in a way, in time.
Yeah, I probably did something when I was with her and we were outside.
This is in Amherst as well.
Yeah.
Your interiors are wonderful. They're true to the space, but you often do these things like this table leg is drawn up, it almost seems to vanish into the floor.
Yeah.
Just the way you've drawn it up with a brush. It's almost like things are really here, but they're still ephemeral and they still move, and things aren't permanent. People are permanent, but things aren't in your paintings, it seems.
He's being hypnotized by this color machine that goes around like a record.
This one's called the Color Essence Color Machine.
Yeah.
It's done.
Color machine.
It's done in 1976.
Yeah.
Where were you then?
Just before I moved away from Mount Pleasant, one of the sons of the neighbors to Dr. Kraft.
Dr. Kraft lived in Mount Pleasant?
Yeah, he moved to the house next to ours, and the other people were old and
This is a painting.
yeah.
Who is the person in the painting?
No one in particular, anonymous person.
And it looks like she, a
woman,
female.
yeah.
And she's sitting in front of a table of some kind.
Yeah, a table with a color machine on it.
There's a color machine.
Radiating a color on it.
You've used this almost this Renaissance device of light in this painting. Where did you learn that?
Probably an art class.
An art class?
An art class or something.
Do you remember how?
Somehow I seem to do them without realizing exactly what I'm doing, I guess.
Yes. So you're contemplating the color machine here, the color essences.
Yeah.
Color essences are something that you have a theory about.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jim Kolakowski.
Yeah.
When did you meet Jim?
Well, he used to come and visit me, and he liked his coffee. He's got fingers on a coffee day. But he suffered a lot.
He suffered a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And you knew him up in Turner's Falls, right?
And Greenfield.
Greenfield.
Yeah.
People use humor to get themselves through suffering. Yes.
Yeah.
And you think Bob used humor to get through suffering?
I don't know. I don't know. Bob maybe not.
It is hard to know how someone else feels.
Yeah.
But you seem to have a way of painting how people feel.
Yeah.
In this painting here, you started this painting a year ago or so.
Yeah.
After you heard about Jim's death.
Yeah. My dad died.
do you remember that you pulled the drawing out of a pile of drawings that you had?
Yeah.
And it was a drawing of Jim with his coffee, and you did that painting
Yeah.
from that drawing, just the way you did Mike the cat over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did a wonderful job of bringing color into a black and white drawing.
Right.
And this painting of Roddy, this is from 1968.
This is the one I did on paper.
Yeah.
This one,
Uh-huh.
Is he still living? Roddy?
No, Roddy died,
Roddy died?
a little over a year ago.
Yeah, he spent the Christmas, he spent Christmas with us, and 3 or 4 days later, he got a call that he died.
Hmm.
You had a lot of loss last year.
Yeah.
You knew Roddy from,
I knew Roddy a long time, way back in the beginning of the hippie days.
beginning of the hippie days, huh?
Yeah.
And this painting is back from that era. Right?
Yeah.
You have the stars in the sky around him, and this
Like
flower.
incident died.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like you can connected to the stars.
Mhm.
Um,
This flower welling up out of his chest.
yeah,
And a beautiful smile, huh?
yeah, that's very wild.
Is that taken from a photograph?
Feeling it.
Was this painted from a photograph?
From a photograph.
It was. You did this in 1983. You were living on South Street at the time?
Going back to Greenfield.
Before you went back to Greenfield. And we, the viewer, are above this person, looking down.
Yeah.
And what about her?
What about hearing voices, people talking about her on the street?
So she's in the street and we're seeing her from above. So there's a lot of tension created by a diagonal line. You
Yeah.
have that one side and the other, it's just the line of the curve, but it strikes up kind of a tension,
Yeah.
almost like a high tension line that goes through.
Yeah.
In fact, her ear is almost in the center of the painting.
Yeah.
Well, as I remember, you were sitting in the studio and you weren't painting, and I suggested, why don't you do a portrait, a self-portrait, and fill it full of the love that you see. And you came up with this idea.
Yeah.
You've got this wink of humor
Yeah.
looking over your shoulder like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And your hand is the same gold as the hair.
It's a body, man.
They're supporting you.
Hmm.